So by mistake, that plank actually dropped off from his hand and it directly landed on my head. And after a few seconds, the blood was coming in such a rapid manner that the white brick on which I was standing, it turned into red. This giant elephant is the SSB, right? The person where you are standing, whether you are standing in the front or the back, is actually the past experiences of the aspirant. The first saying that I have always believed upon: achievements on your head and failures on your heart shouldn't stay for you. And this is something which not only I believed in phrases, but in terms of my actions also I have always implemented. मैं बोलता हूँ कि किसी के एडवाइस पर भरोसा मत करो. You might have seen that detergent and no, पहले इस्तेमाल करें फिर विश्वास करें. So that is the same thing I believe.
Hello everyone, welcome back to our podcast. This is your host Nandini Kushwa, and today we have with us someone very special, Rishu Pandey. He has an inspiring journey from being an NCC cadet and an engineering topper to now finally getting recommended at the prestigious 11 SSB Prayagraj for SSC Tech 65. He's also an athlete, a content creator, and someone who truly represents discipline and dedication. Let's hear his story from his side.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the warm welcome, and I believe that the fruitful conversation that we are going to have is quite going to inspire for our lovely audience.
Absolutely, Rishu. So Rishu, let's begin with your SSB experience. How was it and what motivated you to join Defence Forces?
So answering it right hand, ma'am, actually my father serves in CRPF. He's an SI over there. So for a brief period of 5 years, he had got a posting over Prayagraj, and the place where we used to reside was just near a RAF camp. And when I used to go to school barefoot, so over there I daily used to see the officials over there, whatever they used to do. And by the time that camp area ended, something different could have been observed over there. That was the civilian life. So that actually made a stark difference in my understanding about the civilian life and professional life. Then moving ahead, you see out and hear out about the stories of bravery and all these things. So I feel all these little things made up the SSB experience quite fruitful, and in order to that, the experiences that I had during my school and college and the network that I built, I feel that it actually led me to where I am.
So basically this was a childhood dream, and now finally you will be joining the armed forces, right?
Certainly yes, ma'am, and let me just correct myself that it was a childhood dream, but before getting into the college, I wasn't pretty much sure that what is going to be the absolute roadmap. Okay. How can I get into the forces? But by the time I entered into the college, I focused upon the basics, what I need to do, and what are the prerequisites required in order to get through this exam. And hence we can call it a childhood dream, but the actual steps that I took in form of action started from the college.
Okay, so there were no distractions, like you didn't want to do something else?
Actually, ma'am, there is a famous saying that being a jack of many and master of none.
Right.
So
jack of all trades and master of none, right.
So I believe that the Indian Army, as an officer entry, they require that jack of many trades. So by the time I entered into the college, I was pretty much clear that what are the different actions that I need to take in order to inculcate the qualities that one requires to get through this tough procedure. So there were various things, and that is also what makes a stark difference between other services and other professions, because I was quite interested in sports, I was good in academics as well, and then there were extracurriculars where I used to remain heavily involved. Also I joined NCC in the second year of my college. So all these things combined up in order to make me believe that okay, this is the particular profession where I can have a balanced life among all the aspects, because I couldn't find, I mean, all other professions are very noble and they are helpful, but there is no other profession which provides a stark balance between all these things. That is your academics, that is your physicals, and then extracurriculars. Hence these are the few factors which really motivated me in order to get into the defense forces.
So Rishu, your 3 AFSB Gandhinagar didn't go as planned. So how did you deal with the rejection?
So ma'am, my first attempt of SSB was at 3 FSB Gandhinagar, and it was just after my 7th semester final examination. So I reported over there, we had our OIR test, and after that the PPDT and narration. Now the story that I wrote, I found it out that it is quite a good story, workable story, and my narration also went well. Then later on, I was also chosen as the one to narrate the common group story over there, and that also went quite well. And when we came out, that type of groups when they say that, oh, you narrated very well, and all of that stuff that happened, and I was pretty much confident and so much relaxed that I will surely get screened in this time. And when the results were not out and we were waiting over there for screening results, so at that point of time I was very much comfortable, and others were pretty much, they were under stress that, oh, what will be the result and all of that. So then an official came over there and he said that, line up, and we have to announce the results of screening, and I was standing over there. The very point, because in AFSB what happens, they announce the screening candidates in sequence. So the very point when my sequence got over and when chest number was not being called for, for getting screened, I was so shocked that I couldn't think of anything. But what happened, what had really happened, and you won't believe, it really took me around 7 to 10 days in order to figure out that what has actually really went wrong over there. And that too I found out because I went back to my college and I was conducting a session of my juniors where I allotted them a role play. So what they were supposed to do was to narrate their character, that what are their character. And when they narrated it, at that very point I got struck that while I was making my narration, at that point I did not introduce my characters, their mood, and all those aspects which are necessary in order to make your introductory part of the story very well. My narration went well, but my introduction part was somewhere lagging, and that's why I got screened out. So these little things, I feel that when you really introspect, this is what we call as self-introspection. These are the real things which you really take care of when, so all these things go smooth. And this is the experience that I had at 3FSB Gandhinagar.
And I think 1 or 2 rejections are necessary in order to make yourself perfect in a certain thing.
Exactly, ma'am. I think that there is nothing as such perfection, but in order to get better and better so that you can have the best effort of yours in whatever task you are going for. So yeah, rejections are necessary because people say that a fool learns from one's own mistake and a wise learns from others' mistake. But I believe that I will prefer to be that fool, because until unless you do not commit a mistake, you never get the realization that where did I actually went wrong.
But this is actually a really great lesson for our viewers, that it's about getting better and better at SSB, and you will learn it through rejections. So Rishu, your second attempt at 11 SSB Prayagraj, in that you got recommended, and what do you think changed in your preparation?
So the first and foremost thing was, ma'am, when I had my last attempt at 3FSB Gandhinagar where I got screened out, I realized that at that point of time the practice that I had for all the tests that are being conducted in SSB wasn't up to the mark. So I was pretty much sure that next time whenever I will have my SSB, I will have to do practice in a certain way. Now, I have to mention it that most of the credit for my recommendation also goes to the artificial intelligence and specifically ChatGPT. Now, what I did was, when I had ample of time for going for the SSB, because I had my reporting on 1st of July at 11 SSB Prayagraj for SSC Tech 65 post, and at that point of time I had ample of time. So what I did was, firstly I feeded all the SSB books that I had online to the GPT in order to make it trainable, that what are the aspects where psych or GTO or interviewer judges you. Then I visited a few podcasts of former IOs, GTOs and all those psych officers, took out their transcript and feeded it to GPT so that it can get trained in a better way, that what are the aspects where I have to treat it. Then I went on to the practice part, that is practicing the story, practicing the SRT, practicing the VAT. And while doing all of this, I used to feed it back to the GPT and ask it that what are the actual qualities which I do lack in according to your assessment, and what can be the better version of reply that I can have. So all these things slowly build it up in a better version of mine. That is what I feel. That was one thing, and more importantly, I also feel that when I had my second SSB at 11 SSB Prayagraj, at that point of time I had ample of practice. I mean, there is not enough for the practice part, but I had enough of certain amount of practice which I thought that I will get through this time. So this was all about my 11 SSB Prayagraj attempt.
So artificial intelligence did really help you in getting recommendation?
I will certainly say so because it did play a crucial role. Because I feel and I believe that most of the times what candidates feel about the SSB coaching is that they will just go in there, get trained for the SSB, and will get recommended.
Right.
But the
That's a
main
misconception.
yeah,
That's a big-
absolutely. Because I believe that, see, I mean, if you're going for assessment, the most important thing that any armed forces professional look for is whether you are trainable or not.
Right.
If you're going into a certain academy and getting trained for something, it's well and good. But you should go in there in order to get assessed, not in order to get trained. There is a basic difference between the both. Because if you believe that, okay, these are the certain qualities which I think that I need to work upon, then you are supposed to take up the professional help. And for my assessment, I chose artificial intelligence as the way.
So Rishu, can you share a memorable experience from your SSB journey?
So ma'am, what happened was after we got screened and the result of screening was being announced. So during the second stage, the chess number that was being allotted to me was chess number 18. So do you follow sports and do you find the relevance of jersey number 18?
Jersey number 18.
Yeah.
Is it related to Virat Kohli?
Yes, of course. So since my very childhood, I have always followed only two professionals. One holds the chess number or jersey number 7, that is MS Dhoni and Cristiano Ronaldo, and second is jersey number 18, that is Virat Kohli. And I swear, the very moment I got that chess number 18, I had that inner feel that I'm going to get recommended this time. And see the coincidence, in my merit list, the rank that I got from my branch was 7.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So that was
What
one
a
of
coincidence,
the
right?
exactly. And that was one of the thing. And secondly, one more important or whatever you call it incident that will always remain in my mind was during our GTO task, there is a task called PGT, that is progressive group task. So where you have to go through the obstacles along with your team with the assistance of 3 items, that is rope, plank and bully.
Yeah.
So what happened was I was leading my group and I was sitting on a white slab, that is inbound area, and I was tying the rope with a bully. And one of my teammate, that was chess number 15, he also got recommended. So he was standing behind me holding a plank. Now I do not know what happened or what didn't. So by mistake that plank actually dropped off from his hand and it directly landed on my head. And after a few seconds, the blood was coming in such a rapid manner that the white brick upon which I was standing, it turned into red. So the person who was standing behind me, chess number 14, he quickly took out his handkerchief and placed it on my head. Then the NCO came running to me. He took me to the medic, and the medic officer told that take him to the MH. We can't do anything over there. And I pleaded him that, sir, please, I have got multiple tasks left today. Once it gets done, whatever you want to do, please do it. I will come back to you. But now just give any temporary solution. So after my multiple requests, he said okay. And he applied some lotion over it and gave me a cotton and said that hold it upon your head. I said okay. So holding cotton upon my head with one hand, and I again entered into the GDO ground. So my GDO says that there is no problem, just number 18, just enter into the ground directly. So I said no sir, I will climb upon the obstacle and then I will enter. And I did the same thing. And see the coincidence, the very moment where I left, the team was stuck at the same position during that obstacle. And as soon as I entered and I saw the obstacle and I got an idea, we implemented it and the team passed through. So this was certainly something that I will forever remember in my life during my SSB experience.
I think there's a saying, luck favors the brave, right? So I think you were quite dedicated and you were brave enough to face the situation. I think it worked in your favor, right?
Yes ma'am, of course. And I also believe that once you get into this journey, when you take up the dream or aspiration of becoming a defense officer,
When you're serious about it.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
And courage is something that is pre-component required for the same thing. Because being brave and courageous not only physically but mentally, in order to get succeeded, because you never know when you will get recommended and have a plus sign and you will be going into the academy. So these are the few things that I feel that these are the pre-components which are required in every defense aspirant.
Right, sure. So Rishu, as we know, there are two main components in SSB. One is GTO and one is PI. So how did you approach both of these?
Okay ma'am, so talking about the first thing, that was my GTO task. Now, we as aspirants need to understand these things very clearly. That when we say GTO, that G in GTO stands for the group, which means all the tasks which are there in GTO tasks, you need to carry your group ahead. So now you need to figure it out that what are the components or skills that you need or that you require in order to get through the GTO task. One is your physical efficiency for sure. Secondary is your speaking skill, because there are lecturate, there are GD, then there is GP. So these are few things that you need. Now what we get confused most of the time during GTO task is that we have to represent ourselves ahead of the group. That is not the purpose of the GTO task. That is what I believe, that once you are being categorized into the group, and you, even if you will see the sequence of GTO task, firstly they conduct GD, group discussion, where is so much of quarrel because everyone wants to put up their points. Then they conduct GP, because one of the common group story has to come out, group progression exercise. So
but I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you, but people fear that if they'll give opportunity to someone else, they will get recommended. So I think there's a constant fear about it. So how to deal with that? Please do tell us.
So ma'am, if I talk about it, one of the official during my GTO task said the same thing to me that I will say over here. He said a very simple statement, that an officer is never part of a mess. Now, being over there, now just imagine yourself being in the place of GTO. There are 10, because 8 to 10 members are there in each and every group during GD or GP. Each and every member is shouting over there in order to put up their points.
Right.
How many people are there who can actually note down the points ki this man has said this thing or that man has said this thing? Because each and everyone is shouting in order to put up their points. So this is my personal opinion, that when you are in a group discussion, when you are in a GP, you need to figure it out that what is the very right moment.
Right.
You have to make 3 to 4 points, but those points should be stuff packed, which is not to be copied or not repeating out the same things. That should be giving the clear message, that should be explaining your OLQs. You have to make out that space, because in that interval of 10 to 15 minutes, you will definitely get a certain opportunity where all other members will lower down their voices, and that is the very moment when you need to put up their points.
Right.
Because I personally believe once you get into the mess, neither you can listen to others' opinion nor others can listen to your opinion.
And sometimes the points are so vague, and candidates just say it for the sake of saying it.
Exactly.
Right? We should avoid that.
Exactly. This is what actually happens, because just because you have learned that you do not need to remain silent in GD or
and
GP.
You just have to shout.
Exactly.
That's not the thing, right?
So that is not what they are looking for. They are looking whether you have got the knowledge, whether you have got logical reasoning. If you are able to make it in the beginning or in the middle part, it's well done. And in addition to that, there are 9 tasks in GTO. So you have to figure out that what are the tasks where my strength lies over there and where I can do above average. So this is one of the things. Now coming up on to the second question, that was about personal interview. So ma'am, I feel that once you get that PIQ form, personal information questionnaire, when you are in your preparation phase, you should fill it very, very carefully. Whatever you have done, whatever you have achieved, or whatever you know about it. Because I believe that your PIQ form is the encyclopedia for personal interview. Whoever the assessor or PI interviewer who is sitting over there, they are going to drill upon it, and the more you say, the point where they will feel that, okay, here I can understand that his body language is a little weak. So they will definitely grill upon it. Now why I am saying it? Because in my personal information questionnaire, I mentioned about NCC, I mentioned about sports, that I was a regular part of it. But there was not even a single question in that 50 to 55 minutes where he did ask me about NCC or sports. Now, what is my general understanding why he didn't ask? Because while narrating or answering about his other's question, I might have given the description about these things, which made it sure for him that this guy has the knowledge about it. So we need not to grill upon. So this is what I believe, that once you got that PIQ form, you have to study it very, very effectively. And your PIQ form is the encyclopedia for your personal interview. The better you are prepared for it, the more fruitful conversation you will have in the PI room.
So were you honest throughout, or you had to fake somewhere?
So ma'am,
or was there a balance? What was the thing?
So ma'am, I do believe upon one thing. SSB is a process where there's no fakeness.
Right.
But you cannot speak everything with honesty. There is a difference between both the things. whatever things you are speaking over there needs to be spoken with a certain limit, because many at times when the assessors feel that okay, we need to understand that what are his experiences in whatever things he is stating about, because a man is a culmination of all his past experiences. So if you are speaking about something, or if you say that I am responsible, and if he feels that okay, this man is not looking very much confident about this statement, so he will generally ask that okay, give me 5 incidents where you feel that you played a responsible part. So these things actually, because this thing actually happened in my interview, many at times when I spoke a certain point or tried to discuss my quality, he was very straightforward that okay, tell me 5 incidents, 4 incidents about it which is related to it. So you have to be very careful. That is what I am saying.
Right.
When you are preparing your PIQ, you have to be prepared with each and everything. If you are writing over there that my hobby is playing, reading books, you need to be ready with the answer कि हाँ भी कितने books तुमने पढ़े हैं, who are the author, which was the last book that you read. So these are the follow-up questions that they will surely ask. You cannot just go in there bluntly writing over there something and then say कि okay, this is what I have written and this is the only thing that I know. That is not going to work over there.
So we have to write what we actually do, right? And if we're telling them anything, we don't have to stretch it to a level that it will sound extremely fake to the interviewer. Otherwise, he will just grill you to extremes.
Yes, ma'am. And in addition to that, I feel that the tone and the confidence with which you answer the questions of the interview, that will decide the fit. Because there were a few candidates who were there. One of the candidate who was already previously recommended for SSC Tech 64th course, he was also there in the same batch. So his interview went on for only 20 to 25 minutes. So there are cases.
Time also matters?
I do feel that your performance over there matters.
No, because I've heard that people say that my interview went for like 40, 45 minutes or like 20, 25 minutes. So does time really matter?
This is again my personal opinion that whatever you speak over there, the conviction with which you speak over there is the thing that really matters, because he also got recommended.
Right.
And he had a conversation of around 20 to 25 minutes in personal interview. I had around 50 to 55 minutes. So these are the general aspects that I feel that you need not to focus in the earlier stages of your SSB preparation. The more important thing about the focus should be your PIQ form, whatever you are writing over there, and what are the things that you should be knowing about what you are writing. So these are the certain things I feel that will help you in PI.
Yeah, Rishu. So I think you cleared a very general misconceptions aspirants have, that if the interview goes for long, it means they will get recommended, or like if it's for short, they won't get recommended. So I think this is a very general misconception that you've cleared today. So thank you so much for that. So Rishu, what are the general mistakes that aspirants make during the SSB?
Okay, ma'am. So this is actually quite an interesting question. So I will just give an example. Suppose you see a very giant elephant roaming in front of you. Now one person is standing in front of the elephant and he defines the physical features of the elephant. That okay, he has got a trunk, 2 legs and a giant head. One person is standing at the side of the elephant and he defines the physical feature that I can see 4 legs, a big stomach, that's it. One is standing at the back of the elephant and he defines the physical features. Now all these 3 persons are defining the same thing, that is the elephant, but their description is different.
With a different perspective.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now coming upon to the same thing, this giant elephant is the SSB, right? The person where you are standing, whether you are standing at the front or the back, is actually the past experiences of the aspirant. Now why I am saying so? A person who has been brought up in a certain manner, who had his education from a certain school, he will have different thing, because what is the most common misconception that we have कि recommended candidate ने क्या story लिख दी, what was their responses in the BAT or SRT, but we fail to understand that point of view that each and every candidate will have is based upon the past experiences that he had, which is what the angle of the person or point of view of the person जो कि उस elephant को देख रहा है. So this is what we fail to understand, that my opinion or my idea will not be the same as in comparison to the person who has graduated from RIMS or convent school or something like that, because he has studied differently, he went on to attend a different college in comparison to me. So how can I have the same answers? He may have the different skill set for which he wrote the answers, for which he wrote the whatever the question is being asked to them. So how can I assume that the situation for both of us can be the same? So there is no particular perfect answer for anything. You have to figure out what is the best answer that you can give in order to solve that particular problem. So this is one of the most common mistakes that I feel aspirants run after. Ki recommended candidate, what was their responses? Okay, this is a particular story. What is the story that he or she is writing because he is recommended? Or what is the response of the VAT or SRT that he or she is writing? So these are the general things that we actually, when I was going for my first attempt, this was the same thing happening with me. I was looking for the response of the recommended candidates, that what are their responses. But after getting screened out from there, I realized that this is not the particular way of preparation. I have to figure out what is my best effort or what is my point of view which could represent me in the best manner. So this is the only message that I will say, or the common mistake that aspirants do make, that they do not understand that each and every person is being built up and brought up differently, so they are supposed to have different opinions about each and everything that they see. There is no perfect way in order to define it.
So Rishu, since we're talking about perspectives, there's a contradictory opinion as well, that sometimes recommended candidates, they take things from here and there, and then they make their own personality on the basis of taking things from here and there. So what is your view on that?
So ma'am, if I speak about the same question, that earlier I speak about the factor of being trainable. That is what the armed forces is actually looking towards. Now, a person who picks out the stories or ideas from here and there, but if you can see why does he or she get recommended even after doing this, because they have got trained in such a manner that their subconscious mind under the pressure of time is reacting in such a manner that they are writing the same responses which they have learned, which actually shows that how good they have got trained. So why will not the armed forces demand such such professionals who can get easily trained and who can actually deviate whenever something deviation arrives over there? So I feel that your trainability actually shows that you are a responsible candidate who understand that according to the situation you also need to change your methods. This is what trainability is all about. So what is the contradictory point? Now, why I say that there are more chances of getting trapped over here? For example, you say something in your psyche that I'm doing this, I'm responsible, or I'm hardworking. In personal interview, the interviewer asks that, okay, what is your daily routine? And you have already stated in your psyche that I am hardworking.
Yeah.
And you are a professional. So he will definitely ask that if you're looking for the armed forces, a profession, at what time do you get up? And if you speak over there that I get up at 7 or 8, so you will certainly going to get trapped, and that is going to get against your recommendation. There is a common saying that SSB is a place where they are sitting over there in order to select you, not to reject you. But these are certain contradictory factors which actually lead to your rejection. This is what we need to understand.
And this is a very basic thing which people ignore.
Exactly, ma'am. This is what I am saying, that if you are getting trained, you get trained in such a manner that you do not contradict yourself in all 3 stages. That is your psych, your GTO, and your personal interview. Otherwise, prepare yourself in a manner where you are true to yourself, so that when your subconscious mind reacts according to the situation, it doesn't go in opposing to the view what you have already presented. So this is what I will.
And we often talk about OLQs. I think this is what we learn from the childhood only. It has to be in the upbringing only, right?
Exactly, ma'am. And I believe that you need not to run after the OLQs. SSB is a journey which really transforms you. It makes you responsible. It makes you, accountable to your actions, whatever you do. So, for example, I will just give you a reference. In many a times in a SRT, it is being asked that a person is lying on the road and you are getting late for the exam. What will you do, right? All of us know that कोई स्ट्रेंजर पर्सन रोड पे पड़ा हुआ है एंड मैं लेट हो रहा हूँ, अगर मेरे किसी इंपॉर्टेंट एग्जाम के लिए, तो मैं अपने इंपॉर्टेंट एग्जाम के लिए ही अप्रोच करूँगा. दैट इज अ कॉमन व्यू. बट वहाँ पे आप ये नहीं लिख सकते बिकॉज वहाँ पे आपकी इररिस्पॉन्सिबल वो चीज़ दिखाएगी. So what was my approach in this thing, that okay, if I am writing over there that I will take out certain time, तो मैं उसको रोड से साइड कर दूंगा. तो अगर मैं ये लिख रहा हूँ so I will make sure कि आगे जाकर ये सिचुएशन आती है तो I do the same thing. तो मेरे सबकॉन्शियस माइंड में उस तरीके से स्टोर होगी ताकि मैं आगे जाके इसको कॉन्ट्राडिक्ट ना करूँ. अगर मैंने सिर्फ रटने के लिए लिख दिया कि मैं ऐसा करूँगा, मैं तो एम्बुलेंस वगैरह सब बुला लूँगा, so again
ये exaggerated version है.
that is larger than the life picture that you are trying to show up. So this is what my approach is, ki even if I am writing over there something during practice or during SSB, so I make it accountable in terms of actions as well, although in the later stages. So this is what my point of view is about the same thing.
मतलब लिखो उतना जितना वो सुनना चाहते हैं, बट इतना एग्जैजरेट नहीं करना है कि वो टू मच ही लगे.
Exactly.
कि हम एक्चुअली उतना करेंगे भी नहीं.
Exactly.
I think this is a very important key takeaway. So Rishu, how did your NCC experience and your sports journey helped you in clearing SSB?
So ma'am, NCC actually played a crucial part. Now most of the aspirants who are looking over, who might be looking over on this video, they understand the basic thing that NCC teaches you unity, discipline. Of course, all these things are over there. But for me, the most important change that NCC brought into my life was connectivity.
Yeah.
That is forming a network. Now, assume a situation where you are reporting for SSB and you never had a conversation with any professional, armed forces professional, and all of a sudden you see people over there in uniforms. So, I don't know whether it happens with someone else or not, but for someone who is an amateur about it, they might get, for a very little moment although, they might get surprised that, or there is a sense of nervousness. But for me, NCC actually played a crucial part in that terms, because I gave multiple interviews, conducted a few, and due to NCC only I came in contact with Brigadier Sanju Ghosh sir as well. So all these things combined up in order to make my experience much more lenient towards the professional things. That okay, if there is a situation, I am ready to deal with it. And coming upon to the sports, that is the most interesting part. So I will share an instance of my childhood. I have been into the sports since my very early years of age, and there was only one demand of my parents, that your academics should not get disturbed because of the sports. Only that was the condition for which you won't be going to the tuition classes. Okay. I said okay. So I never took tuition classes during my whole school because I was getting good marks in academics and all. So I believe that what sports teaches you, the earlier experience that I told about my Prayagraj SSB, where I got hurt, still I came in.
Yeah.
Now, person who is unknown to the sports or haven't played much of it, they might think that okay, it is such a bold and courageous step. But someone who is into this sports profession, they will understand it surely that there are many times situations come when you have to play with injury.
Right.
You have to play along because your team is supreme over there. Whenever you take part in any sports or competition, each and everything that you learn over there have to be represented in actions. Never give up attitude. That I believe is the most important thing if you are a defense aspirant.
You will fall every time, but you have to get up.
You have to get up.
Right.
Exactly, well said. So these are the few things which I feel that came into my personality because of sports and taking responsibility of your team members. Because team coordination is something which I am thankful that I have been into the sports and I learned from there only. So these are the few things that I feel NCC and sports did taught me.
That's actually a very brave reply to the situation. And one more thing I would like to highlight, that you talked about your NCC experience. There are two things now. First one, you yourself, you're a content creator, right? So you did podcasts with the alumni. And the second thing is, how did this channel help you to learn?
So ma'am, talking about the content creation journey, so when I was in my second year of college, at that point of time I realized that currently I do not have many connections and there is nothing much that I am currently doing in order to remain in touch with whatever I am aspiring to. So at that point of time I tried to find out a way, and I felt like creating defense content creation, and this is what I wrote in my hobby as well during my PIQ, where the interviewer also grilled me upon that okay, you have written content defense creation, what is actually
what
that?
do you actually do?
Yeah. So for over a year I used to cover multiple stories, multiple war stories about professionals or something related upon it. So at that point of time, what actually it gave me, firstly, when I got into NCC, I had already started my channel, so I was handling the content creation part of the NCC of my college as well. From there on, I got in connection with sir as well for the same thing.
Yeah.
So all these things, these little efforts, I believe that all these things combined up in order to form.
Made your personality.
Yeah, exactly.
It added up to your personality.
Exactly. And in addition to that, it also taught me the skills of video editing, not to forget about it. Because when I was thinking that what is going to be my backup plan, because I believe that you cannot remain sticking to something which is very much uncertain. Okay, I understand that we are defense aspirants and we believe that this is the only thing that we are going to have as a professional. But you also need to understand that there is something which is called as responsibility. That is the responsibility of family. And armed forces also require a professional who is responsible
Towards the
towards nation as well as your family.
Okay.
So you need to have a certain backup plan that if not this, then what?
Yeah.
And at that point of time, I had a very clear opinion that okay, this is one skill that I am working upon and I will keep working upon, and if not this, then I will shift to video editing for quite some time then.
And I think this is a very practical aspect, and aspirants must keep in mind they should have a backup plan, right? Do you believe that?
I do strongly believe upon it, because ma'am, what happens is when you are in preparation phase for SSB and all of this is something, the process that it holds. Of course, there are very limited vacancies. There are very strict procedures in order to get you selected. So there are multiple chances that you may fail.
Yeah.
Not
right.
once, not twice, but multiple times. And at that point of time, if you do not have anything else to do or to deal with,
you
then
might slip into depression.
Exactly. And I do believe that at this point of age, because this is something that they expect from an NDA student, कि आप थोड़ा सा अगर इस चीज़ के बारे में बात करते हो, they understand it. But when you go for graduation entries, they expect much more maturity from you. That in professional terms, whether you are playing the responsibilities that you have stated in your PIQ and Psych or not. So this is what I believe, that you also should remain open to diversify your fields rather than just being stricken to same thing.
That's a really important key takeaway.
Yes, ma'am.
So Rishu, as we know, family and friends, they're really important and they does shape our journey. So what was the role of your family and friends in your SSB journey?
So I'm talking about the family, and as my father serves in CRPF, so from the very beginning part of my life, I was pretty much open to all these things, and I used to see and experience all those aspects. The most important credit, whatever I am today, if I got recommended or I'm going to join the defense forces, so much of that credit goes to my family as well.
Yeah.
Because my mother has sacrificed a lot of things. She was the first lady from my whole village who took her kids, got moved to the city in order to give them a better education. And at that time, there were a lot of hardships that she faced. And this is actually the role of my family. And if I talk about friends, that is the most important thing.
I'm really sorry, I want to interrupt you. The bravery we're talking about, that has actually come from her.
Yes,
right?
yes, for sure, I can say that.
So the credit goes to your mother.
And I won't be talking about it much long, because I think that I may get a little much emotional, because whatever she has done for me. So that is one aspect, and let's go to the friends part.
Let's go to the friends
Yeah.
part. Yeah.
So from the very beginning of my schooling time, I had a very limited group of friends. Now, mostly my connections during my school time was with friends who were related to sports. So at that point of time, most of my circle that was consisted of about sports. So when I went in the college, this was the actually backstabbing part that I had कि भाई सिर्फ ऐसे लोग हैं जो कि स्पोर्ट्स खेलते हैं, बट प्रोफेशनल अप्रोच वाले इतने ज़्यादा नहीं हैं. So when I got into the college, I was pretty much clear that what network I actually want to form. Because if I am looking for defense as a career option, I should have a network where other aspirants or serving professionals are there, so that I could approach them for the guidance. So first year I applied for NCC, I couldn't get in. Then I asked myself, what is the other option? College seniors. Because this is what actually college. So I got graduated from Samrat Ashok Technological Institute, Vidisha. This is the actual difference that college does provide you. Because in school what happens is that you have got bhaiyas and didis where from whom you are too much casual. But once you enter into the college atmosphere, you have to remain, you can get open, but at the same time you have to respect your limitations as well.
You have to seek a balance.
Exactly. So when I entered into the college, I tried making contacts with multiple seniors who were aspiring defense aspirants at that point of time. And luckily I got one senior, it's important to mention his name, Aniket Navik sir. Luckily he also got recommended for the same course, and we will be joining the same course soon enough at OTA Gaya. So he was the person, he was my super senior. When I was in the second year, he was getting graduated. And I consider him as my literal guru in the field of SSB, because whatever he has done for me, I don't think that someone else could have done the same way. So I actually saw his persistence towards the dream. He got recommended in 20th attempt, but
Okay.
whenever I had a conversation with him, he was always there in order to speak about that. Okay, these were my mistakes. So in 19 attempts where he did not got recommended, he had the actual reason that in each SSB what were the mistakes that I committed. And whenever I used to have a conversation with him, there was never a moment when he will say that GTO खराब था, psych खराब था, या PI खराब था, अरे वो center ही खराब था. There was never a moment when he used to speak like that. No, he was always there where he held himself responsible. That okay, these were my mistakes and these were the qualities that I need to improve or in terms of action. So friends थे, बहुत important role रहा. मेरे batchmates, again मेरे बैचमेट्स जो थे, मेरे दोस्त हैं, उनमें से कोई भी मेरे सेम डिफेंस एस्पिरेंट नहीं है. वन ऑफ माई फ्रेंड जिसके साथ मैंने हॉस्टल के 4 साल बिताए, ही हैज़ गॉट अ स्टार्टअप, टेक्निकल गाय. अदर फ्रेंड्स, शी इज परसुइंग फॉर एमटेक, सो गेट प्रिपरेशन. सम गॉट वेंट फॉर प्लेसमेंट्स. So
you were the only one.
I was the only one. So when you see these guys, you get an idea that how much diversified fields are. And if you have got a circle like this where each and every person belongs to some other field, so you actually get an impression that okay, अगर इधर भी चल के जाना हुआ, what are the components that I need to carry, या फिर इधर जाना हुआ तो क्या चीज़ें मुझे संभालनी पड़ेंगी. And I still remember my friends told me that don't worry, give your one year for SSB and all. Even if doesn't something happen, we are here to take care of you. So much of I always feel that I have been blessed because of the people that I got, including my seniors, juniors and batchmates and all the friends and family that I have. And it is the prayers of them that actually got me into the stage where I am. So
and you're very articulate about the friendships and the people you hang out with.
Yes ma'am.
That does make a difference.
That
आपकी
actually
संगति से बहुत असर पड़ता है.
Exactly ma'am. And I am kind of person who actually relies a lot upon the friends, because I have always said during my college times as well that people can be my batchmates, but each and everyone cannot be my friend.
Right, that's true.
So there was a very limited circle that used to roam around, and because when you are in a circle where people are talking about the career and each and everything, so you actually remain aware of the surroundings. कि सिर्फ ऐसा नहीं है कि मैं अगर डिफेंस एस्पिरेंट हूँ तो मैं सिर्फ डिफेंस की ही बातें चला रहा हूँ. अगर कोई टेक्निकल वाला है तो वो भी चीज़ें बता रहा है अपनी कि मार्केट में ये चीज़ें चल रहा है, या करेंटली दीज आर द रिक्वायरमेंट्स और स्किल्स दैट मार्केट रिक्रूटर्स आर लुकिंग फॉर. इफ समवन इज गोइंग फॉर फर्दर एजुकेशन और PG program for MTech GATE, so they are also telling me that if you go for GATE, these are the opportunities that you get. You can go to PSUs with a good GATE score and other opportunities. So when you have got diversified fields, people from diversified fields, and again if they are pretty much serious about their career, so you also get opened up about each and everything. कि मुझे बस इतना stringent नहीं रहना है कि मैं बस इसी की चीज़ें के देखूँ. Other things also open up. So that is very much important, because friends actually play a very crucial role in shaping up your personality. I strongly believe that.
So we can sum this up in a manner that your dedication, your heart and soul was with the Indian Army, but you had your options open, right? So that did give you a practical approach in the preparation, right?
Exactly, ma'am. Because I still remember during my interview also, the interviewer asked me the same thing, that if not this then what.
Yeah.
So I was pretty much clear, because I said to him firstly, of course जो कि हर डिफेंस एस्पिरेंट बोलता है, I'm pretty much sure that I will get recommended this time. But he said don't give me these answers, give me genuine answers. So I said to him that sir, right now also I have got a placement offer. I will look out whether I want to go it or not. Otherwise, I am also looking up towards other skills. So he was also interested that what are the other skills, and we had a conversation about it.
Yeah.
So until and unless you are not working upon these things, you cannot really speak upon it on that stage. So I believe that these all things combine up to give a fruitful result.
Absolutely, Rishu. So what are the 3 golden tips you have for the viewers who are watching Cadet Alumni Association?
So ma'am, I don't know whether the mark will reach to 3 or not, but the first saying that I have always believed upon: achievements on your head and failures on your heart shouldn't stay for too long.
Okay.
And this is something which not only I believed in phrases, but in terms of my actions also I have always implemented. Because there will be situations where you will achieve something and you are exaggerating it that मैंने तो past में ऐसा ऐसा किया है. I believe that whatever you have done in your past हो गया, अच्छी बात है, but now what you are doing, that is the most important thing. And again, for the same thing for the failures or disappointments, कि यार ऐसा हो गया, वो चीज़ ऐसे execute नहीं कर पाया. It's over, take the learnings, move ahead. Go ahead with the other thing that what you have got lying next. Firstly is that. Secondly, ma'am, what I would like to speak is कि you know, when you are a defense aspirant and looking for multiple podcasts and all of these interviews, so there are plethora of advices that you will get.
Yeah.
मैं बोलता हूँ कि किसी के एडवाइस पर भरोसा मत करो. You might have seen that detergent and no पहले इस्तेमाल करें फिर विश्वास करें. So that is the same thing I believe. आप सुनो एडवाइसेस, बिल्कुल सुनो, बट इम्प्लीमेंट करके देखो आपके लिए वो वर्केबल अप्रोच है या नहीं. बिकॉज ज़रूरी नहीं है कि अगर कोई दूसरा इंसान वो करके रिकमेंड हो रहा है तो आप भी उस चीज़ से रिकमेंड हो जाओगे.
And I think we've talked about this previously also.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is it. Have your own mindset. That is the best approach that you can have. And thirdly, मैम, मैं ये सिर्फ मैसेज देना चाहूँगा हर एक डिफेंस एस्पिरेंट को कि अगर आपको लगता है कि आप डिफेंस के लिए बने हो एंड यू आर ट्राइंग योर हार्ट एंड सोल एंड यू नो फ्रॉम इनसाइड, मैं ये नहीं बोलता कि दूसरे उसे सर्टिफाई करें. अगर आपको अंदर से पता है कि मैं बहुत मेहनत कर रहा हूँ और शायद आपको सक्सेस अभी नहीं मिली है, सो मेरा बस इतना ही मैसेज है कि आप बस लगे रहो, नेवर गिव अप, एटीट्यूड मत छोड़ो. फौज में आज नहीं तो कल आप पाओगे जरूर. This is what I want to connect. I think I got up to the mark of it.
Yeah, you summed it up really well. And I think I can clearly see why you got recommended, because you're very well articulated and very practical, and I really appreciate this quality of yours.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and thank you for having me on this conversation. It was very nice to talk to you.
And I think it was a fruitful conversation for the viewers as well. So that's it for today, and now we're summing up the podcast, and this was your host Nandini Kushwa signing off.